Okay guys, in the last few years, my life has changed a lot, both in business, which started blowing up in 2019, beginning 2020, and in romantic relationships, which is also going to be part of the topic today, and how to navigate money, success, and relationships. Because it can be very hard nowadays for men to navigate these three things, and it's always been a bit hard. So I want to touch down a bit on these three topics. I want to share a bit more about the relationship I have with money and how it changed over time, because at the age of 12, I had this feeling that there was scarcity of money in the family. I understood it many years later that is not true at all. First of all, because I grew up in Europe, so it's very hard to not have money in Europe because life quality here is pretty nuts. I don't come from a millionaire family, so I wasn't given a lot of money since I was little, but I always had everything I needed, and I can't say anything about my parents because they gave me way more than they should have. But nevertheless, there was this kind of scarcity feeling in the family, which, I don't know, I grew up thinking that we didn't have a lot of money. My parents are divorced and my mom had no job, so when they split, I always thought we didn't have much money, which is in some way true, but in many ways is also not so true. So I decided to take money more seriously, and I started with Facebook pages. I started monetizing them, and I started making money really early on, at the age of 14 or so. And at the age of 15, I think that's the first time I had to do a file for taxes, which is uncommon for my age. But making money at that age made me feel much better because I could spend it on things that I wanted, and I didn't have to rely on my parents. I'm talking about clothes, I'm talking about games, I'm talking about, I don't know, even a PlayStation or a TV. I felt like I could contribute to my family, and eventually I had this goal to actually help out my mom. And that goal came a reality because she's working with me since a few years. But over the time, I had this feeling that I had to make a lot of money quickly enough, and I didn't really enjoy the whole process. And not enjoying the whole process affects us a lot more than we think. Because right now, the way I see money is way different. I see money everywhere. Like, it changed so much. Like, I see opportunities everywhere around me, and I don't feel like I need to chase money anymore. Simply because money comes my way in many ways and shapes and forms that I can't even imagine. So what I'm thinking about right now is what makes me happy, and to that, if it makes a lot of money too, then great. And most of the time, both things go together. Well, first of all, I don't work on small projects anymore, so that's something that changed a lot. And it's a bad thing not to focus on one thing only and focus on a gazillion things, because you don't put in the time and effort to build one thing out properly, and that transforms into bad results too. So in the last few years, I decided to focus on one thing only, which is my agency and affiliate marketing, which ended up being the best decision I could make. So yeah, it made me a lot of money. And in fact, still nowadays, it makes me $1 to $2 million in revenue per month. So that's pretty great. And it's easy to say that I don't feel scarcity of money anymore because I also have a lot of money and I keep making a lot of money. But the key was that I started making a lot of money as soon as I stopped feeling anxiety towards the topic money. Let me explain. Before my business started blowing up like crazy, I was very anxious about not making enough or running out of money at some point. But at some point, I just decided to trust the universe, trust my abilities and my future, that in some way I would make it. And ever since, I stopped worrying about it too much and actually started working less, which is a paradox because I always worked a lot in my life, thinking that the more I work, the more I earn. But to be honest, it was quite the opposite, because working less actually allows you to have more clarity and making better decisions. And that's exactly what happened to me when I stopped working 10, 15 hours per day and as an experiment, working 3-4 hours per day max, and enjoy the rest of the day and working out and building healthy habits. And money started coming 8 months after this transitory period of me going from feeling anxious about performing and money and success to being hyper confident and trusting that the universe has my back and that I'm actually gonna make it. And that made a whole difference. And I'm thinking beyond money right now, and I wanted to touch down on this too. I think there are 3 stages which everyone goes through. The stage number 1, which is the stage where the majority of people live, is the so-called victim stage, where people run through life thinking they're a victim of the world, society and whatnot, and they don't think they have any control whatsoever over their own reality. So they just live by the program, they go through this matrix, and everything that happens to them is, I don't know, the government fault, is the parents' fault, and it's the girlfriend's fault. They don't have any control and they don't do anything about it. In fact, they don't change their life. The second stage is actually when people start realizing that they have control. So the stage where you start setting goals, you buy self-help books like, I don't know, I have this one on my desk that I actually stole from one of my friends few years ago, and I realized just now that I never gave it back. It's the organized mind. So that's the stage where you start buying all these books or watching movies like The Secret, when you start to control your thoughts and try to visualize what you want and manifest them. And the third stage is where you start doing things that are right for you or for the world. So you don't just chase money, you think beyond money. You still attract money, but you do it in a very elegant, chilled, relaxed way. You start doing things that you like, and money is just a result of your actions. And you start seeing money as a point that you're scoring in the game, and it's just a result of your actions. And what you build actually makes you happy. In fact, I'm building some more projects that I will reveal in the near future, and they genuinely make me happy because their vision pulls me to do those things. And in this stage is where playing and working becomes one thing only, and that's the beauty of it. You start having more free time also for your beloved ones, which brings me to the topic relationships. So I had 4 different romantic relationships in my life. They were all different and in their way very beautiful. Some were more painful, some were very beautiful and relaxing, and I want to talk about it because a relationship should nurture you, should give you more energy than actually draining energy. So it's very important to build and have good, healthy relationships. So I think having one long-term relationship can be a very good thing if it's a healthy one, rather than having many different short relationships. Having a long-term relationship can give you stability, can give you focus at work, can give you all the energy you need to succeed in your business, because I think the two can go very hand in hand. And I think also you can go much deeper if you have one girlfriend, because if you date multiple girls, it's very hard to connect with all of them and still run your business or still do anything else. And in general, I think our feelings can be busy with 1 or 2 girls, but more than that, if you want to go very, very, very deep, it can be a bit challenging. You can have many short relationships, which I also had in my life and I will keep having. But the important thing is that you're not wasting your energy and you keep the energy for what's super important. Same thing with long-term relationships. I've had 1 or 2 of my past relationships were actually energy draining, which is the worst thing that can happen to you as a person. Like, a relationship should always have a net positive impact on your life and not a negative one. With relationships comes a lot of responsibility. In fact, you need to take care of a girl and you need to understand if you are able to do so. And I think a lot of men nowadays are not capable of it or don't want to, simply because they're maybe too young, or because it's too much work, or because they lack masculinity. I think I'm at that stage where I just want to focus on my business, and when the right woman will come in my life, I will accept her and give her everything she needs and build a very good and long-term relationship. But until then, until I don't feel I found the one, the famous one, I will not engage with relationships too much. I'm 25. I think girls in my age are generally very immature. They don't really know what they want. And I'm very driven and I need to be on my pace, and I don't want to waste time. It drains my energy essentially. So girls and business, they actually go hand in hand, because one thing that I see that affects a lot of men nowadays is the feeling of scarcity of women. The sooner you realize that there is an abundance of girls out there, the better it will be for you. If you have the sense of scarcity over women, it will actually affect your masculinity. So let's make an example. If you have a girlfriend and the relationship is energy draining, so it's a bit toxic, but you have the fear of being alone and you rather stick to the girl, it's probably because you think there are not many girls out there that are ready to be with you. And that's a feeling of scarcity, and it actually affects your masculinity because you're not acting the way you should. You should quit the relationship or make it better, but not stick around and suffer. Same thing if you're single and you're looking to date many girls and you're very needy. Every time you go on a date or you text a girl, you give them way too much attention. The girls feel it. They're like, hold on, I just met this guy. He's giving me a bit too much attention. Mind that girls, they want attention, but they don't want something easy. If it's too easy, they would be bored. They rather, stick around to some guys that are, harder to get, So there's some sort of achievement for them to work on and work up and get the guy. It's not masculine energy to be needy with any girl. So for example, if you go out on a date with a chick that you just met and you had a beautiful dinner with her, you bought her some drinks, you got her some flowers, and then it's time to go home and you try to take her home and she politely refuses you, well then just stop there, just let her go her way. You don't have to try to get her home on the first date. And there could be a few reasons why she didn't want to come with you, and it doesn't have to be because she rejected you. Simply mean that, I don't know, she's on her periods, or she wants to think about it, and or she doesn't want to, you know, sleep with someone on the first date, although you really seduced her. There can be many reasons. But if instead you show yourself that you super needy and you really try to convince her to come to your place, it will actually push her away. She will be like, what sort of a man is this? Like, he's too needy, he's giving me too much attention, and I don't really like this type of life. And girls generally, they don't like to be pushed around. Like, just don't chase and be chased. That's, I think, the big secret. And another sign that I see in men that can make them weak is not being open about their sexual needs. They are in a relationship and they feel like they want to, and they have this deeper need to engage with other girls. Nowadays, this feeling gets judged a lot by girls, and men, they're weak enough to settle with it. So they don't embrace this topic. They block their nature of actually engaging with other girls, and I don't think that's necessarily right. It all comes down to the person. I'm talking about myself now. I think there's a big difference if you want to be monogamous with your girlfriend, or if you are in such relationship, or if you want to be in an open relationship. And so if you're a woman and you want to engage with many other men, that's fine. It won't work with me, because I don't like to date a girl that wants to engage with many other guys. Girlfriend material for me is the girl that sticks to me and is super loyal. But a man has different needs. The man needs to fulfill its biological needs. And fortunately, nowadays, in the last year, this topic became way more popular, and I was very happy to hear many people speak about these topics on the internet, which before was kind of a taboo. Like, no one could speak about it because it's like, oh, but that's unfair. Then the girls should have the same freedom. But I don't agree with that, because girls have different needs. A girl needs a lot of reassurances. They're emotional, they're loving, they need a lot of different care. Men need other things, and one of the things that men need is freedom. And take away freedom from a man, you take everything from that. Like, I have a friend that says, be free or die. And that's so true. And it comes down also to sexual needs. So I don't think you should now engage and betray your girlfriend. I think that if you are in a relationship and as a man you have sexual needs that go out of your relationship, you should be open about it and have a conversation, negotiate something with your girlfriend where you can express yourself. Because I think there's nothing worse for a man than living a life that is unfulfilled sexually. Sex is such a big part and a component in a man's life, more than a woman. For a woman, love and sex are one thing most of the times. But for men, love and sex can be two completely different topics, and that's super hard for women to understand. But if you're a man, you probably already know what I'm talking about. And I think you should negotiate and be super transparent with your girlfriend from early on, from the days you start dating. If this need is not being taken care of, this behavior can lead to cheating and lying. Cheating and lying means you can't trust the person. So I think we should be very open about it. We shouldn't neglect the fact that some men, if not the majority of men, they all need more sex in their life. And like in my case, I couldn't date a girl if I'm not allowed to see any other girls. To be loyal, you should have many choices, and at the end of the day, always come home to your girl. But if during the day you go out and you play around, that shouldn't be an issue. So over time, I changed my view on money, relationships, and success. Like, I think I'm very successful, for example, because I live a life that I'm in love with, because I get to do so many different things that I love. I can practice all my hobbies. I love to skydive. I love to travel and have this freedom. I like the fact that I can build things when I want, because I have the freedom and the resources to build projects that actually have impact on people, like for example my YouTube channel, or the digital course that I'm building, or other two projects that I'm gonna reveal in the near future. Yeah, now I'm inspired and I act differently. Having this inspiration is so fulfilling, because at the end of the day, we have to feel in some way. So whether we feel sad or depressed, or that the day wasn't good enough, so why not feeling that you're unstoppable, that you are unlimited, that you can do anything you want in this world? And that's the feeling that I wish to everyone watching this video. In fact, thank you for watching, and I hope you liked this video, so put some thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Peace!